The Golden Fleece in York is situated opposite the end of the historic street called the Shambles, and next to the Herbert House, a Grade 1 listed building which has a first floor jetty incorporated into a side passage of the pub. The original building, mentioned in the York archives as far back as 1503, belonged to the merchant adventurers as an inn for wool traders, which is an important trade in York from the 13th to 17th centuries, and this is from where the name of the pub originates. At one time, the corpses of criminals hanged at nearby Bailey Hill would be stored in the cellar of the inn until the family of the deceased came to collect them. John Peckett, the Lord Mayor of York, owned the property in 1702, and the backyard of the inn is still named Lady Peckett's Yard, after Alice Peckett, the wife of John Peckett. The Golden Fleece was rebuilt in the 19th century and refurbished again in 1926 by Biscombe and Ferry. As can be seen, the front used to be a big open archway with the pub itself accessed via a side door down a snickleway. This is now the corridor to the back of the pub. In 1983 it was designated as a Grade 2 listed building by English Heritage. The pub is instantly recognisable by the large golden sheep hanging above the door, and whilst it has a narrow frontage, it is very deep in accordance with a medieval townhouse, and has a front bar, a corridor containing staircases and toilets leading to a second bar, and past that a space with dining tables. There are thought to be 15 ghosts in residence at the Golden Fleece, but the most noted of these, and the most talked about, is Lady Alice Peckett. Many guests have reported seeing Alice wandering the corridors of the hotel, moving furniture around, and walking up and down staircases in the small hours of the night. Loud footsteps which have been heard in the early mornings have also been attributed to her. Roman soldiers have been seen in the cellar of the hotel, the area where dead criminals used to be stored. One-eyed Jack, dressed in a red coat, wig and tricorn hat, has been mostly sighted in the bottom bar, pacing up and down the bar carrying a flintlock pistol. It is unknown who this apparition is. What is described as the apparition of a grumpy old man is also reported from the bottom bar. This apparition crouches in a small alcove. Some say he is silent, others say the small grey figure utters mumbled grumbles, but ceases when any members of staff approach. A young boy dressed in Victorian clothing is said to have been seen in the area behind the entrance to the pub. He is thought to have run out of the pub and been killed accidentally under the hooves of one of the dray horses. It is also said that this apparition, or another similar, has been regularly seen in the top bar. A World War II Canadian airman, called, it is said, Jeff Munro, fell or was pushed out of the window of room 4, which is on the 3rd floor, after a night of heavy drinking in 1945. Guests in that room have reported being awoken in the middle of the night, having seen a dark figure in full military uniform standing over them. During 2002, a number of people witnessed the man dressed in late 17th century clothes walk through the wall adjoining the Herbert House, across the corridor to the Shambles bar. The apparition paused as it crossed the corridor and looked straight at the ghost hunters. During the evening's investigation, the team felt sudden cold chills in some areas of the building, and a child's voice was heard at one point. The ghost of the hanged landlord is quite well known to the staff, although no one knows the full story, or who or when it occurred. People have experienced lots of paranormal activity in the bar area, such as hands around their throat and glasses being knocked off shelves. The staff at the inn have over the years described how their hair has been pulled by invisible hands, and a number have felt sudden tightening around their neck while standing at the bar, where, it is said, the earlier landlord hanged himself. Phenomena reported at the Golden Fleece has included doors banging and doors that slam, mysterious footsteps on the stairs, cold spots and temperature changes, strange lights, candles that light themselves, coverings to bed interfered with, and beds that move themselves around. I visited the Golden Fleece on many occasions, especially when an undergrad at York. The opportunity to wander down through the town of an evening was an easy option. I've so far witnessed 2 apparitions in the pub. The first was in perhaps 1991, when I watched a stoutish woman of 40 to 50 years old, with her hair up in a tight bun and wearing a coarse black calf-length dress, walked away from me down the corridor between the front and the back bars. As she moved out of sight, I followed, thinking her appearance being out of time, and found only a handful of customers in the back bar, and no woman of the description I had just seen. On a subsequent visit in 2019, in the company of paranormal investigators Larry and Ryan Lawson, on a visit to England from Florida, and when we were in the upstairs bar area, I had the impression of being watched from the doorway. Quickly turning, I saw for a brief instant a very young blonde-haired boy staring at us, his head peering around the doorframe, and then he was gone. The following is taken from 2 recordings on tape in 1990 or 1991, whilst on an investigation at the inn.